Hi, hello, namaste and welcome. My name is Suresh Kakulu and I'm your learning partner in psychology. And in the last session, we have seen what is the nature of psychology. Psychology is basically the scientific study of the human mind and its behavior. And when we say the word behavior, it is very observable. Whereas coming to the human mind, it refers to the internal thought processes and feelings. And today, again, we are welcoming you to this new series in learning psychology. And today we are going to learn some of the very interesting concepts or subtopics or subfields of psychology. Now let's get started. Coming to the first thing that we are going to discuss today is about clinical psychology. What is it? What is clinical psychology? Many people get confused between clinical psychology, counseling psychology. So I have come up with this topic so that you'll get a clear idea of it, even though we are going to discuss very little about it only. Now, what is clinical psychology? It is the study and treatment of mental disorders. Not only that, we can also say that many clinical psychologists diagnose and treat people with psychological problems in clinics, hospitals, and private practice. In addition, some are scientists who conduct research on the causes of mental disorders and the effectiveness of various treatments. So this is about very brief about clinical psychology. It deals with the title itself says it is done in a clinical setup. Yeah. And mostly clinical psychologists help people with psychological problems in clinics, hospitals, and private practice. And with that, we are going to move to the very next subfield of psychology. It is the cognitive psychology. Now you may ask me, sir, what is cognitive psychology? The word itself has some meaning in it, cognition. Yeah, cognitive psychology deals with the elements of cognition, and the very brief study or very brief understanding of cognitive psychology goes like this. It specializes in the study of mental processes, especially from a model that views the mind as an information processor. So it considers the human mind as a processor of information, just like the processor of your motherboard of your computer or your mobile phone or any digital gadget which is having a processing device. So it views basically cognitive psychology. It specializes in the study of mental processes, especially from the model that views the mind as a information processor. So in this subfield of psychology, the mind is considered as an information processor or processor of information. Cognitive psychologists examine such topics as consciousness, attention, memory, decision making, and problem solving. These are some of the key elements of cognitive psychology. It is an area with cognitive psychology called psycholinguistics, focuses on the psychology of language. So please remember this point, and I'm going to discuss a little bit more about this element called psycholinguistics, or the element of cognitive psychology that deals with the elements or the psychology of language. Now let's get started. Let me stop my camera for a moment. Yeah. So let's do this beautiful exercise. Let's begin our exploration of psychology with a quick exercise. Please read the paragraph below, unscrambling the words as you proceed. Now, let me give you a hint. Uh, these are uh, these are not a new language words. These are all the words of English language only. And with little bit of effort, you'll be able to read it through. And let me help you for the first time. According to research at Cambridge University, so let me on my camera. According to the research at Cambridge University, it doesn't matter what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and the last letters are at the right place. The rest can be a total mess and you can still read it without a problem. This is because we do not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole. Yeah, I hope you're able to understand. This is an excerpt, and it says about research done in psycholinguistics, which is the branch of psychology that deals with the language. And this is done at Cambridge University. And according to that, you can read through the words of English or English. Here, the first letter, for example, according. According starts with A and ends with G. A and G are at the right place, and the letters in between are jumbled, even though you are able to read it. For example, look at the word research. Research starts with R and ends with H. Now, the middle words after R and before H are jumbled. And whatever sequence they are in, you'll be able to read it through, because this is the beauty of psycholinguistic, which is the branch of psychology that deals with language. And this is a result of a research done at Cambridge University, one of the topmost universities in the world. And let me go to the next point. The jumble word exercise relates directly to psycholinguistics. This is what I was asking you to remember. Yeah, psycholinguistic is the branch of psychology that deals with the language. So, and this is a part of cognitive psychology, we can say. Now we are going to the very next field of or subfield of psychology, which is the biopsychology or neuroscience. Biopsychology or neuroscience focuses on the biological underpinnings of behavior. And biopsychologists examine how brain processes, genes, and hormones influence our actions, thoughts, and feelings. So it basically tries to examine how the processes of the brain, genes, and hormones influence our actions, thoughts, and feelings. And some biopsychologists seek to explain how evolution has shaped our psychological capabilities. For example, our capacity to for advanced thinking and language and behavioral tendencies like acting aggressively or altruistically. One more wonderful subfield of psychology is developmental psychology. Developmental psychology examines human physical, psychological, and social development across the lifespan. For example, some developmental psychologists explore the emotional world of infants, while others study how different parenting styles psychologically affect children, or how our mental abilities change during adolescence and adulthood. One more wonderful subfield of psychology. We are just skimming through, right? Just to give you a rough idea. Experimental psychology. What is experimental psychology? Experimental psychology focuses on such basic processes as learning, sensory systems like vision, hearing, perception, and motivational states like sexual motivation, hunger, thirst. And most research in the subfield involves laboratory experiments, often with non-human animals. Mostly, most of the research is done on non-human subjects. Although this subfield is called experimental psychology, we have to be aware that researchers in many psychological subfields, not just only experimental psychology, they conduct experiments. Now, coming to one more very important field or subfield of psychology, it is the IO psychology or industrial organizational psychology. Coming to this subfield, it is very prominent in the industrial application. Industrial organizational or IO, it is abbreviated short form as IO psychology, examines people's behavior in the workplace. Not only that, IO psychologists study leadership, teamwork, and factors that influence employees' job satisfaction, work motivation, and performance. They develop tests to help employers identify the best job applicants and design systems that companies use to evaluate employer performance. For example, in the recruitment system, they can design some questionnaire, or they can conduct some short interview to understand who is the best applicant that would suit to this job profile, with psychological perspective, whether this person will be an asset. If we select this person, whether he'll be able to gel up with the other persons or he will create any problem. This will be assessed mostly through organizational psychologists. Coming to personal or personality psychology, personality psychology focuses on the study of human personality. Personality psychologists seek to identify core personality traits. What are traits? Traits are just like some qualities, right? Core personality traits, and how different traits or qualities relate to one another and influence behavior. They also develop tests to measure the personality. And one more subfield of psychology, we can say, it is the social psychology. Social psychology examines people's thoughts, feelings, and behavior pertaining to the social world, the world of other people, the world. Yeah, so I'll tell this at the end. Social psychologists study how people influence one another, behave in groups, and form impressions and attitudes. They study social relationships involving attraction and love, prejudice and discrimination, helping and aggression. So the word socio, SOCIO, means companion. The word society, social, is they are derived from the root word that is SOCIO, socio, which means companion. Social psychology deals with a companionship in the society, and as we have seen, how people influence each other, they behave, they form their attitude, they form their beliefs, and a lot many things can be studied in this subfield of social psychology. And we have seen many subfields, even though we have just skimmed it through. These are few of the subfields of psychology that are having their applications, and we can see some combinational effects also. Organizational psychology, social psychology, like that. We can see some elements having applications in different subfields. Just like we have seen experimental psychology, not only experiments are done by experimental psychologists alone, experiments are also done by the psychologists of the other fields also. So I hope you like today's learning. We'll meet again very soon with a new topic and with new learning. Till then, stay tuned and take care. Have a great time. Please subscribe, share, and comment below this video about the content that we are learning so far. And this is Kakalu Suresh, your learning partner in psychology, signing off. We'll meet again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Have a great time.